All right. Good afternoon. This is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page. Today we're going live. We go live every other Monday night at 6 o'clock Central Time. Just for you guys out there, just letting you know that again we go live every other Monday night at 6 o'clock Central. So if you guys got questions or concerns or comments about the ATM business, you can always ask and we'll answer. If you're catching the live on replay, you can just put them in. You can comment in underneath after I went live or during the time when it's rebroadcasted, and then I'll answer the questions for you guys. Whatever, if it's this topic or other topics, and you got some questions, I'll answer the questions. You can always catch us on our YouTube channel, which is Philip Webb ATM. We also have a ATM Mastermind Group page. And you can always ask questions on LinkedIn. So if you guys are interested, so here we go. And today's topic, we're going to talk about 3 myths to the ATM business. Myth number 1 that I see all the time is, hey, Phil, I didn't know that you can own your own ATM. I thought ATMs are only for banks or credit unions. So nope, that's a myth. Back in probably maybe about 2000 or maybe about 1999, they deregulated the ATM business. So ATM, hey, Mitchell, I see you over there. I'll get you in 1 second. The ATM, they deregulated the ATM business and they allowed private people just like yourself, just like us or private companies to go out and buy ATMs and start processing transactions. So now, as if you guys didn't know, you can go out and you can buy an ATM. We sell PDQ Merchant Enterprises. We sell ATMs. We provide processing. We provide service. But you can actually go out and purchase your own ATM. And that surcharge that you see anytime you go to the ATM, now you can incur that for yourself and you can start making revenue. I talked to one time. I was talking to a politician here in Chicago, and they said, "Oh, I didn't know." They want to put a bill out for legislation in the great state of Illinois, and it was going to hurt the ATM business. So we had a meeting between him and I. We went to dinner, and I said, "Look, I just want to talk to you about this bill that you're sponsoring. What's going on?" He says, "Phil, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know. I was having an issue with the banks. The banks weren't coming in. This was an inner city guy." He said they weren't coming in and they were pulling out. The big banks were pulling out of my district. And I didn't like that. I wanted them to stay here because the people need loans. They need checking accounts. They needed access to the banking, and they were going to pull out. But they were going to keep the ATM and keep a bunch of their ATMs in the local community. He said, so I didn't want that to happen. So what I was going to do is put together a bill that was going to force them not to make any money on their existing ATMs. He said, but the bank started working with us in the community, and they're actually going to stay here, which is good for the neighborhood. And he said, but now that we're meeting, I had no idea that you guys were providing ATMs to the neighborhood. I just thought it was for the banks. And I said, no. I said, here's our situation is when a bank just does exactly what you do. Maybe they have a Chase Bank here in one neighborhood, and then they decide to shut it down. I said, the only one that services that community is us, the independent ATM guy. I said, and then we provide access and cash to the neighborhood, to the people in the neighborhood. So if they need cash, then they can come to us because there isn't any. Usually when the bank does pull out, they do shut everything down. Now they might keep the ATM for a little amount of time. Pretty soon they get rid of the ATM altogether. So it's just a soft pull, and that's what I informed them. I said they'll shut the branch down. They might have had 3 or 4 ATMs, maybe one at the branch and a couple throughout the neighborhood. And now what they'll do is they'll shut a couple down. They'll leave one at the branch and one maybe in the neighborhood. And then pretty soon it's only about 6 months to a year, and then they pull them all out. So there's no access to community to cash except for just us in the ATM business. He said, well, man, thanks for having dinner with me. That bill, now that I know, I'm not here to hurt you guys. I love small business. He said, but now that I know that, I'll be conscious of what we do further in legislation and we don't want to hurt certainly don't want to hurt small business, and we don't want to hurt the guys who are helping us in the neighborhood. So that was kind of reassuring. But just to let you guys know is you can get into ATM business, and it has been going since about 1999. That's when I got into the ATM business, is in 1999, and it's been going strong ever since. All right. Another let's see. Mitchell has any ideas of putting and also costs on an outside ATM for a card side diner that has no outdoor seating? Okay. Any ideas of putting, I think, an ATM at the cost of an outside ATM carousel diner that has no seating? Car side diner. Constantly. Mitchell, I don't understand the question. It says, any ideas of putting and also the cost of an outside ATM for a car side diner that has no, okay. So no indoor seating. So let's see, a drive-in diner. Oh, okay. I got it. Like a Sonic. Okay. So what you can do is you can buy an ATM, you can buy a kiosk that is for an outside. It's pretty secure. That kiosk, and I don't know local what it costs right now. The kiosk was a heavy duty kiosk. It was about $3,000 for the kiosk, and then you can put it outside. It'll protect the ATM from wind and rain and the elements, even cold. You can have it all year round. If you're living in Northern Territory, you can have it. The ATMs will work all the way until about minus 20 degrees. This will protect it even in extreme conditions. It'll work. Now, I don't know anything lower than minus 20. I don't know how that will work. I see ATMs in the city of Chicago. They have the kiosks and they do sit outside. It's the same ATMs that you or I would use. So I would say it'll work. It might not work so great in the minus 20, but it will function. The kiosk is going to probably run you, last I checked, and prices did go up, but I haven't bought one in a few years, so I don't know. But it was about $3,000, and then you're going to have shipping. That's going to kill you, but figure around probably $500. So my guess is about $3,500 for an actual kiosk that will protect you. Then you're just going to need a power hookup, and you'll have to do something with cellular. It's just the same cellular that you have. Just got to be conscious of the signal and where you're going to put the antenna, so the kids don't come and grab your antenna. Maybe put it in the ATM. It should work. We do have one, not at, but we have it at a fair. So it should work, but that's about your cost. So figure $3,500 for a budget, up to probably, I would say 35 to 45, on the high side 45, but shipping is going to really be the determining factor on that. So, but it should do very well if it's, because as you got your access. One of the things the ATM business doesn't do well is when you put an ATM in a place that has limited hours. So the longer the place is open, the more chance you get to make money, the more money you'll make. When you put an ATM outside, just like you're talking about, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So there's always access to cash for somebody. That means there's always business for you to make money, and whoever else, like your partner, let's say, that like the drive-through place, to make money. All right. Great question. All right. The other thing is, people say, hey, I'm not going to get an ATM business because cash is going away. I feel cash is going away. I don't want to get into a business that seems like it's going away. So I've been in the business for 23 years. My story is that there's always need for cash. And then we just talked about the inner city. We have a lot of locations in the inner city. If you're on any kind of government assistance, or you have any kind of program, sometimes you might have a different lifestyle than the government wants you to lead, and they don't support that lifestyle. But how you can get to support that lifestyle is by the ATM. So what does that mean? I'm just giving an example. let's say you like to smoke. Okay, well, the government is supporting your smoking. So the only way you can buy cigarettes is you take your government assistance card, put in an ATM. Now you have cash. Now if you now you can get cigarettes. Now that might not be the most appropriate thing. People say, "Well, I don't understand that. That's not right. This and that." Well, hey, that's not for me to judge what people do. But I'm just saying that would be a customer of yours, because now they need to get cash for whatever they want, whatever lifestyle changes they're making. And you know what? You're making money from that. So whether or not you agree or you disagree with what's going on, you know what? You can make money off of that, situation. Also, if you're getting Social Security, or you're getting, you know what? Same thing. They put it in your account. You can get the money out from your ATM card, and you can do whatever you want with it. So just to let you know, like a lot of people that are on government disability, they're on Social Security, other programs, they get money through the ATM. Now, the other thing that when we were doing COVID, a lot of people were getting money from the COVID relief fund. That was all on. That was they put the money in your account. The only way to get the money out of your account was either go to the bank or you can go to the ATM, and they gave you an ATM card. So you could get you can get your money through that. So those are a couple of the ways that people use ATM. Also, if you're in a casino environment, ATM, there's no debit cards, there's no credit cards on casino games. It's all cash. If you want to ship money to another country, let's say you got some relatives in another country and you want to ship some money back home, you have to do that with cash. So the only way to do that, you can't get a debit card, you can't get a credit card and take it on there. You have to give them cash. Then they wire that money over to somebody else. And then if I want to wire money to anywhere, it has to be cash. It can't be credit. You got to give them the hard dollars, and you take it, and then you ship it to wherever it's got to go. Now, the other thing is, like this weekend, I went to this is like the craziest thing. I went to a concert. Okay. The concert, I would try to get into the one door, and what happened is there was rain. So everybody left the venue. Then the rain cleared up. They said, "Hey, everybody come back." So now I'm looking, try to get back. There's a big sea of people. So I know there was 3 entrances. So I went to the second entrance, big sea of people. And now I'm on the other side of the venue, which is about a 15-minute walk. I saw there was a lady, and she got they call it a golf cart taxi. They're moving people from the parking lot to the entrances. So I flagged her down. I said, "Hey, can you give me a ride to the other side?" She said, "Absolutely, jump in. But before you jump in, we don't take credit cards. It's all cash." I said, "No problem. I got cash." I said, "How much is it?" $5. I said, "Sign me up. Take me over there." So we went around. We jumped in the golf cart, went from the one side, which would have took me 15 minutes, to the other side, took about 5 on the golf cart, and went right in because there was nobody on that side. Everybody was coming from the 2 main entrances where the parking lot was. There was a campground. But on the other side, which I knew there was never anybody over there. And boom, we got right into concert, got to see the whole thing. It was great. Again, power of cash is a great thing. And the more I see this, I don't know, live your lifestyle the way you want. But the more I see this is that cash is now saying is freedom. Cash and freedom are like one and the same. I got cash, I'm free. I don't have cash, I'm stuck to whatever somebody wants to do and put me on the elevator. So I like cash, and it works out for me to give me opportunities that I necessarily didn't have before. All right. And then one of the other things that we talk about is this, the ATM business. And I like the ATM business. Again, I'm a pro ATM guy. I believe in it. It's going to be around for a while. And then maybe another 50 years. I mean, that would be good for me. But I believe in it. But here's the thing is people say, okay, the ATM business is, they call it like a get rich quick scheme. Oh, hey, I'm going to put an ATM, I'm going to make $3,000 a month and everything's going to be great. It doesn't work like that. The ATM business is not a get rich quick scheme. It's a business just like anything else. You're going to buy an ATM. You're going to place it in a location. It's going to make money or it's not. If it doesn't make money, then take that asset, which you paid for, and move it to a place that does. All right. The ATMs are not permanent. They're not a permanent structure. They move. Now, if you get into real estate, you buy a building and you do your evaluation. You think, oh, I'm going to make money on rent. And then things go sideways and you're not making money on rent. And then the roof leaks. And then you got bugs and you need to do some painting, and then some tenants camp out on you and they're not paying you. Those are all headaches that you're going to have to deal with. You can't move that building. You got to deal with that. What in ATM, if it's not working out, pick your ATM and move it to some place that is, and you can make money. But keep in mind, you're going to make money every month, and you get your money first. You don't have to worry about it. Anybody else getting the money before you, you get your money right away. You pay whatever bills you got to pay, and then whatever's left over, you put in your pocket. And the nice thing is, again, you get paid first, but you're not going to make millions of dollars or thousands of dollars. We always hear the same thing. I tell you guys all the same thing, $250 per ATM. That's our average. That's what we're consistent on. We get thousands of ATMs that we look at that's in our portfolio. And that's the average. It's $250. Some make $1,500. Some ATMs make $3,000 and some make $50. So you know what? You got to look at and say, hey, $50 one, that's not working. Get that off of the portfolio, and let's look for a location that does make money. But I want to just reassure you, look, it's $250. That's the average. That's the kind of money you're going to make. It's not going to be thousands and thousands of dollars. So if you're thinking it is, it's not the right business for you. I talk to people all the time. Let's see what I got here. How many? Okay, Mitchell says, how many ATMs? Okay, how many of your ATMs do an additional to 20s? How many of your ATMs do something in addition to 20s as of now? Seems like a bundle of bills. If you were doing SSI or government funds. All right. Okay. How do I get rid of that? I don't know how to do that. Oh, I don't know. I did something. Let's see. Okay. So we have some ATMs that what we have is we have 2 cassettes in there. So it depends. If it's in a dispensary, it might be one thing. If it's not in a dispensary, if it's in a location that they want to do, we have some locations they wanted to do 10s. Okay. So I don't like 10s. I'm not a 10 guy. I don't want to do 10s. I tell them, no, we don't do 10s. But so what we do is, the problem is you put a 10 you put an ATM, and most of the ATMs that you're going to get are a 1K cassette, which means 1K stands for 1,000 notes. So you can put up to, if it was 20s, you could put up to $20,000 in an ATM. Now, most of the time, you're not going to put $20,000 in an ATM. You're only going to put enough to get to the next cycle, however long that cycle is. If it's going to be 5 days, it's going to be a week, 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever that cycle is, you'll determine what that is depending on how often you want to service that ATM. But people want to put some convenience stores in some like inner cities. They want to say, hey, put 10s in there because guys don't have that kind of money in their account, but if they don't have 20, they still want to get the 10 out to spend it. Okay, what can we do when we put 10s there? I don't like doing 10s because now the quality of bill goes down, and I only can put so much money into the ATM. I only can put $10,000 in an ATM. Maybe I want to put more. So I don't like that. Plus, and then I got to worry about this location's 10s, this location's 20s, and I don't like it. So what we did is they came up with what we call the 2-in-1, has 2 cassettes in the ATMs. So now I could put 5s and 20s in there. So if somebody wants to take out $5, now this is a crazy thing. I have actual people who spend $3 to get $5 out, but they do it. Okay, fine. So they can take a $5 bill out. And then if they want to take a 10, they want to take $5, $10, 15. It'll dispense the 5s out of the holder where the 5s are at. If they take 25 out, it'll serve 120 and one $5 bill. So that's 25. So they can get money in increments of 5 all the way up to whatever they want to take money out. But it'll dispense a 20 for if somebody takes out 40, and you get 220s. If they take out 50, it's going to take 220s and 210 or 25s. So that's how we do. We do that for a multi place. Now Mitchell says, how many of them are multi-tender? We don't have a lot. We have a few. It doesn't dispense. We do it, or I recommend, for if guys have dispensaries, I recommend they put hundreds and 20s, because a lot of times in dispensary they have, you can do 50s. Yeah. So Mitchell asked, can you do 50s? You can do any denomination you want, but I just be mindful because of the location and what they're going to do. A high traffic volume area and dispensary, maybe you do hundreds. If you want to do 50s, yeah, you can do 50s. Do 50s and 10s, or 50s and 20s. So that way, if they take out, let's say $400, they give them 50s instead of 20s. Just because a lot of times you're filling those in. There's, you're gonna, on a dispensary, you might put $40,000 in it. That's a lot of money, and you really work in the ATM. If you shorten it down and put 50s in there, now think about, you're basically taking, instead of doing two dispenses, you're only doing one, or a half of one. So it makes it easier. The reason I did hundreds is because now instead of doing 5, I'm only doing 1. And so if they say, hey, I want to get $200, it's 2 $100 bills. If they do 220, then it's 3 bills instead of all those bills that they could do with 20s. All right. But yeah, you can do 50s. You can do whatever you want. I saw in a chat group, a person says, hey, I got a gentleman's club. They want to do singles because they wanted, so the girls have money. So instead of them getting a 20 and going to the bar, and then they want to do in singles. I would have never did that. The guy said that he did it. It lasted 3 months, and then the location closed up. I don't know. And he said he got called all the time because of the service, because the quality bill goes down. So that's why the higher the quality or higher the denomination of bill, the lower service calls, because the quality bill is so good and it doesn't get jammed. Okay. I got another one. When in the ATM business, how often do you pay? I recommend once a month. So we set it up on automatic ACH, which means this is what I do, is when we get a new location, I ask them for I give them a W-9. They fill that out, has their tax ID, has their information, the name of the corporation, everything for the business owner. Then I give them an ACH agreement, and I ask for a voided check. So that way they fill out the ACH agreement. The ACH agreement says I can put money in their account, and that's what I tell them. And then what we do is we get a voided check to make sure their numbers are the same. The routing number and account number is the same. So we keep that just to make sure that they got, sometimes people, they transpose the numbers and they like, oh, this is my regular account, and this is my checking account. And sometimes I've had it where they said, hey, you told me that I'm supposed to get the money. It's been 6 months. I haven't seen any of the money. And I said, well, this is the account you gave us. Oh man, I gave you the wrong account, or I gave you that was the account that we were going to do it in the beginning, but we changed, and now we have the account still open. So if I automatically ACH, that's automatic clearinghouse, or what it stands for. If I automatically put the money in, now what happens is I have trace numbers, and I can say, look, I went through and I said, look, this is the last 6 months. This is how much went in your account. Here's a report from the ATM. Are you getting the reports? Oh yeah, I get the ATM reports. I just didn't get the money. So we make it automatic. That way we pay them every month. It's easy. I don't have to do anything. Let's see, just to let you know. Okay, let's see. But when I was on, and we have a few people that they want checks, and we discourage that. So when I said, look, if you want a check, we pay every 6 months. And they said, oh no, I don't want that. I want to get paid every month. So okay, fine. So everybody says, oh yeah, no problem. I'll give you my bank account. And that way it discourages that. And we've been really fortunate by doing that for years and years and years. So it just becomes what we do. I have run into that where people, and the only time I ever run into it is when it was somebody else was in there There was an ATM operator in there. They got rid of them for whatever reason. They called us. We came there. I asked for information. They said, well, the other guy pays a check. And I said, well, how often did you get the check? Oh, yeah, we had a fight and this, and we didn't get our money. And I said, well, that's why we do it ACH, because it makes it easy. You'll get your statement on the first of the month. You'll get your money between the 4th and the 8th, and it automatically goes in there. And they said, well, we prefer checks. And I said, well, we only pay every 6 months. Oh, okay. We'll do it that way. So that's what happened. All right. So D asked another question. When the ATM is, how often you pay yourself? I get paid daily, or not daily. I get paid weekly. So I pay myself weekly. Every week we take what they call an owner draw. And then at the end of the year, the accountant would give the money. We give the accountant, or the what we call the P&L and the balance sheet, and the P&L and the balance sheet. Then we see, did we make any money? Did we not make money? We've been making money. So then what happens is my owner draw goes against what the business made. So that's what we usually we do. But I pay myself every week. So just like when I was working for somebody, I got paid every week, and I didn't see any reason to change. But I mean, it takes that discipline to pay yourself every week. And here's what I would tell you on owning your own business. Sometimes you're like, you know what? I want to put the money back in the business, but my recommendation is, you know what? Pay yourself. You're working hard. Pay yourself. That way, you know what? If you're always working and you're not taking any money, then it's not good. You know what? Take the money. That's what I would do, but it's up to you guys. Let me see. Okay, got this. Let's see if we got anything else. All right. So, okay, we did that. Let's see. Get rich quick. Okay, so those are. Let's see what else. Oh, and if you guys are in the ATM business, and okay, one thing I would tell you guys to do is when you guys are when you get in the ATM business, maybe the first 1 or 2 ATMs, might not really need an accounting program. But when you guys get, I would say 3, 4 ATMs, invest yourself in the QuickBooks program. I wish they would pay me to say that. I don't know. Maybe I got to think about how to leverage that. But QuickBooks, we've been using them forever. Phenomenal program. It's good for small business. It's good for accounting. When I first started out, I was doing, if you can believe this, I did everything by hand. I had bookkeeping notes, kind of like with those green notes I had journal entries and all this stuff. It was a pain in the butt. It was very hard. And then when I went to talk to the bank was like, oh, can I see a P&L and balance sheet? It's like, oh my God, I don't even know how to do that. It was hard. And I was like, okay. And then I talked to the accountant. I'm like, hey, can you make me, the bank wants a P&L and balance sheet. I don't even know how to do that. I remember taking accounting classes in high school. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could figure this out. But an accountant said, yeah, no problem. So they did that for the bank. And then I discovered, and this was a long time ago, like 20 years ago, I discovered, okay, they had QuickBooks, or probably an early version of QuickBooks. I don't know, man. Maybe, I don't know if we were on the thing for, it seems like a long time, but I think we were. I think the accountant might even recommend it, say, hey, there's this thing called QuickBooks. And so we set it all up to the best of my ability. And then what happened is I didn't know what I was doing with QuickBooks. That was crazy. It was like another language. And I learned, and I went out and I found a QuickBooks, what they call a QuickBooks Professional. They helped us set everything up the proper way, the right way. And then they gave what they call accountant's files to the accountant at the end of the year. So now the bank says, hey, I need a P&L and a balance sheet. No problem. I can get that right over in like 3 seconds, because it's all there. So it makes it easy, bookkeeping wise, business wise, to give whoever needs that. And I don't know, it's easy course of doing business. It's everything, but it's simple for me now because of that program. So that's a good thing. All right. Ernie's on, look at that. So I met Ernie. Now here's the thing. I just shared with Ernie. Ernie is one of the nicest guys you ever meet. I see him, he's on. He's like, but he came to our office. He lives about 5 hours away. He came into our office, and he, to me, on there, I seen him on, he did like a face-to-face. He looked like he's just, I'm a short guy, maybe like 5'8", and I thought Ernie was short like me. Ernie is like 6 foot something. John said he's a monster. But I'm thankful he's a friend of mine, and he's been a great guy to work with for over the years. All right, let me check out to see if there's any more comments. Let me see. Nope, I don't see any more comments or questions. All right, so that would be it tonight with ATM Live. I want to thank you guys very much for joining. If you're new to the ATM business, or you're thinking about getting an ATM business, we have a course that teaches you from A to Z how to get into the ATM business. If you just want to buy an ATM, we sell ATMs, we process transactions, we offer technical support, and if you do buy our program, we also have a locator service that'll help you guys find locations if you need that too. So with all that being said, hey, thank you guys very much for watching us on YouTube. Check us out on Rumble. And if you're seeing the replay, you know what? You have any questions or additional questions or comments, you can always post them below. And if you guys are still on, if you guys can put like a fire in the chat, if this has been helpful for you guys, I would appreciate that. Any thumbs up, any fires, any emojis whatsoever, that would be great. So I appreciate you guys for jumping on. Check us out in 2 weeks. We'll be on it again, 6 o'clock Central. And now we're going to go over. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And I'll see you next time on ATM Mastermind. And check out our videos. And always comment if you guys any questions or comments or concerns. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll check you later.